season, the Cavs had a very slow start to the year. Not surprising. They had a lot of new faces and people they're bringing together. Clark, it didn't look like the powerhouse they would end up being, as we saw.
Well, you know, they were kind of fumbling and bumbling around in the 5th and 6th spots in the East for the first half of the season. Made some changes, though, through trade, and that got them going, I think.
And it's the Cavaliers with the ball after the basket by San Antonio. Outside jumper. Lets it go from deep. Irving can't hit. San Antonio leading by 6.
And those midseason trades for the Cavs really turned things around. Mozgov came in, J.R. Smith and Shumpert secured that 2 spot, gave this team an incredible edge defensively.
Now Irving. Ginobili missing from long range. Shoots the 3. And again, Kyrie Irving for 3. Irving's got 11.
And 2 more three-point field goals for him here in the second quarter. Somebody had better get a hand up.
There's a screen. Parker kicks to Diaw. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Yeah, and you know, they built the roster to how they played best midseason. I mean, it was a great job, I think, by the front office to get the players that fit best into the locker room and into the team style of play.
All right now, gentlemen, 2 shots. Move shot.
He's off on the first.
And you really got to admire Boris Diaw. I mean, he's found a way to kind of reform his game as he's gotten older. I mean, so different than when he was new to the league.
Here's what San Antonio's going with right now. David West, he's checked in for Anderson. Kawhi Leonard comes in for Daniel Green. And it's Mills in for Tony Parker. And the second free throw, good. Diaw lost his athleticism and is a slower player than before. You could argue he's more productive now, though, Clark, than ever.
Well, his game was always on the ground in my mind. He's highly skilled. He's much more cerebral on the floor than given credit. I mean, I think he is really a difficult matchup because he's crafty, he's tough, and he's experienced and skilled.
San Antonio leading. Diaw with the screen on Irving. Had a hand on it. And the Cavaliers pushing it up now. And then Smith with the dunk.
Now, this is why the breakaway rim was invented, for plays just like that.
Well, he almost brought the whole thing down, Clark, by hanging on that long.
Yeah, he did.
I tell you what, though, great dunk, and this is even a better game we got going on right now.
Here's Mills. Again, the miss by the Spurs.
I didn't see that miss coming. I mean, he's usually been money from that range.
Tie game in San Antonio. And now let's catch up with Doris Burke, who's standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Well, Tim, in looking at that first half, what sort of adjustments are necessary as you guys prepare to take the floor after the break?
Just refocus of energy at halftime, come out a little more focused and understanding what we got to do to finish this game.
Tim, we appreciate the time as always. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Doris. And we'll be right back after halftime for the start of quarter number 3.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, folks. Ernie Johnson here along with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. We're going to break down the first half action for you. A pretty close game for the Spurs throughout the first quarter. At the end of one, they were able to end up with a 5-point lead. They couldn't hold on to the slim lead they had at the start of the second quarter and headed into the locker room with the game all knotted up. Kenny, what was your take on San Antonio?
Well, quite simply, their bench showed up tonight. And when I say showed up, I'm talking about on the offensive end because they were scoring in bunches. Now, you want your reserves to just at least come in and hold the fort, but they did way more than that tonight.
Looking at Cleveland, Shaq, your thoughts?
They're shooting way too much from the mid-range and the outside. The offense lacks dimension, and that could really hurt them in the second half, Ronnie. I like to see their bigs get down and dirty. They got to play way tougher.
And now, folks, it's just about time for the third quarter to begin. We will see you after the final buzzer.
The third quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away in the last half of the game. You look at Kyrie Irving in this game, he has been everywhere.
He created a lot of quality shots for himself in that first half, and he knew when to pass it up when the double team came.
And that led to a very high points per shot number for him. For those of you that are into analytics, that stat really tells how efficient a player has been, and he's been very efficient so far.
Defensive-minded Green and Leonard are the wings. Aldridge out there with Duncan. And it's Parker in at the 1 spot. And that's who's in the game for the Spurs. And watching Kevin Love, he can do everything on the offensive end, Clark. He's been that way really his entire career, going back to high school.
Yeah, his game is low to the ground, too. No explosive moves or dunks. He takes you on and beats you with skill. Good footwork, smooth shot, sharp passer, and an excellent IQ.
Aldridge against Love. Inside, knocked away. Stolen by Thompson.
Heads up interior defense there. He was ready for that entry pass.
The dish to Love. Yes, and it's Smith with the assist that time. And it's a 5-point Cavalier lead.
And talking about Love, last season was a tricky one for him. So much of his post offense was taken away by the Cavs scheme. So he just made up for it by averaging the second most threes of his career.
San Antonio making a switch here. Martin's checked in. And a switch here also for Cleveland. Dellavedova's checked in. Aldridge, no luck. The Cavaliers leading by 5. Here's Smith. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
You know, for Kevin Love, last season was the first time as a pro that he's been asked to defer on offense. Not just to LeBron, but to Kyrie as well. You can bet he and Chris Bosh now have a lot to talk about.
Anderson, he's checked in for Daniel Green. And Cleveland also making a change. Mon Shumpert's checked in for Kevin Love. Well, safe to say that J.R. Smith has never been short on confidence, Clark, his entire career.
Yeah, he's always been a guy who could actually play with confidence and back it up. When he's hot from the floor, he can take over games single-handedly.
Here's Anderson. Great pass to set up the lay-in. Anderson's got his second bucket.
Outstanding entry pass there. He knew exactly where to go with the ball.
Smith for 3. And another miss by Cleveland.
And for Smith and his confidence, last year even he said he's on pace to be one of the best shooters the game has ever seen. So obviously not lacking in belief in his ability.
Takes a 3. And he gets it to go. Smith's got the lead up to 6 now for the Cavs.
Wow, you don't see him make plays like that very often. That's a nice move there for the basket.
Screen by Duncan. Parker drives in. Here's the break. Jumps up.
Excellent work there in transition.
Yeah, I think it's always better to go early in transition, to attack when it's there, because oftentimes you can beat the defense down the floor.
And that was Kia bringing you the close-up on the big-time play. 6-second difference between the shot and game clock. Offensive rebound. Here's Duncan. Once again off the mark by San Antonio. Smith outside. Got it up. He got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him. And we've watched 3 so far in this one. Cavaliers on top, up 8. And coming up as soon as we return from break, the fourth quarter gets underway. Hello and thanks for joining us, folks. The fourth quarter of play should begin momentarily. The Cavaliers leading by 8. And Cleveland looking at who they've got to start the fourth quarter. J.R. Smith and LeBron at the 2 and 3. Channing Frye out there with Kevin Love. And it's Irving in at the point guard. Smith's shot is good.
Those are starting to add up. Of their last 5 baskets, 3 of them have been three-pointers.
And clearly it's about how poorly the defense has played. They've got to close out faster.
Ginobili attacking. Great D that time from LeBron.
And you can see the defenders afraid to kind of get in his way a lot of times when he's on his way to the basket. But on that one, they were there.
Now here's LeBron, screened by Smith. Now James, Love outside. Just 4 to shoot. On its way from Irving for 2, and too long on the shot.
You're not going to see that very often. Plenty of space, but he just, let's face it, he whiffs on that one.
Now here's Mills. He's covered by Irving. Leonard with a screen on Irving. Down low, layup off the pick. And with that shot, the Cleveland lead is cut to just 9 on the basket from Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, saw some things that just weren't working for them and wants to make some adjustments.
Yeah, and no reason to wait around to do that, Greg. I mean, you might as well make those adjustments.
They can't guard us on the perimeter. Spread the floor and isolate up top. Spacing, fellas. Spacing.
Left in the fourth quarter. Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Thank you, Kevin. I got a chance to hear what the Cavaliers head coach was saying to his team. He told the players, let's put our foot on them and keep them down. We've got them exactly where we want them. I want to see you guys slow the pace, use the clock, and stay away from any silly fouls.
Thank you, Doris. Now here's Mills. Following the miss by Kyrie Irving. Mills dishes to Diaw, and so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
And you don't ever want to get into the habit of letting the offense get to the rim.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that's the message they were sending with that foul. Nothing easy inside.
Shooting 2. Shooting 2.
And the first of 2, no good. Heartbreaker. And the second of 2 is good. That brings them within 8.
Yeah, he cuts the deficit a little bit, but not as much as he could have. One miss can make a big difference.
From deep three-point range, an absolute bomb from three-point range. 16 points for Kyrie Irving.
Just a great hustle play there. Energy and passion. This is what you play the game for.
We're just over a minute and a half now into the fourth. Mills passes to Leonard. The shot from 20 feet away. Can't hit. And Cleveland the other way now.
And you know what? He's just not on his game. No doubt about it. Their deficit isn't totally on him, but he has not been an asset for his team. And now as the clock ticks down, this is going to end up as a solid victory here for Cleveland.
Steve, I agree. And, you know, I think the attitude was very impressive. Clark, you talked about this before the game. Definitely a competitive game, and they fought through it each step of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. They put a tremendous performance in terms of effort and intensity, and they deserve to win this one.
I mean, when you look at the stats, you'll see just how dominant a game this was for Kyrie Irving. He was extremely efficient offensively, got good looks, and really knocked down big shots all game long.
Now, here is Irving, following the miss by LaMarcus Aldridge. Irving with the ball. Fires from deep. That doesn't go in either for Irving. We've got a 9-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Parker kicks to Green. Off the mark there with the three-point shot. Parker against Irving for the 3. That doesn't go in either for Irving. And now running up the court, Leonard pushing it up. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Parker.
It's got to be nice for them to know that game in and game out, his offense is going to be there for him.
Irving. That doesn't go in either for Irving. No good there. And so it's Cleveland taking care of business in this one. A solid win on the road for them. This building was dead silent by the time